Have you wondered to know how some of your favorite movies are been produced? Then chill and take a cup of popcorn and relax while you watch this video. Some of these popular movies with mind-blowing scenes are made indoors while bringing to you a huge action scenario to your screens. We have to give credit to these superb directors for their intellectual skills towards working hard to put a wonderful display of movies on our screens. So, if you care to know how some of your childhood and favorite movies are been produced, then keep watching this video as I take you to the behind the scenes of some popular movies you've watched. I bet you will be shocked that most of what you've watched isn't what you think. Number 10. The Scorpion King. The Scorpion King is a 2002 American action-adventure fantasy film directed by Chuck Russell. Starring Dwayne Johnson, Kelly Hu, Grant Heslov and Michael Clarke Duncan. It is a spin-off of the Mummy franchise and launched the Scorpion King film series. The film marks Johnson's first lead role. The events of the Scorpion King take place 5,000 years before the events of the Mummy and the Mummy Returns, revealing the origins of Matthias and his rise to power as the legendary hero the Scorpion King. The name is a reference to a historical king of the proto-dynastic period of Egypt, King Scorpion. In the making of this movie, everything was produced in accordance to the history. Every costume wore in the movie was customized. According to the costume designer, he said he wants to create a world of its own for the movie. By looking at the history of film and try to relate what he sees in the pictures in the historical book. That is to say, every single costume you saw in the movie was made by the costume designer. According to him, it wasn't an easy task. He had to set up a big workshop for it. And also bought almost all the skin of leather in Los Angeles. The costumes were all made for the movie. None was rented. That also includes the swords and other weapons used in the movie. For the fact that they made every costume themselves, made the movie classical. Because they had to own their space and made everything to their suitability, which led to the best outcome of the movie. Number 9. The Lion King. A little recap about the movie. The Lion King is a 2019 American musical drama film directed and produced by Jon Favreau. Written by Jeff Nathanson. And produced by Walt Disney Pictures. It is a photorealistic computer-animated remake of Disney's traditionally animated 1994 film of the same name. I can bet you actually thought the lions used in this movie are trained lions. Well, they are not. All you see is a special effect from green screen, visual effect and virtual set design. That is to say, everything you saw on the screen was created by digital artists. That includes every animal, every branch, every tree. They were not actually present live, but was synthetically created to look photo-real. The only real shot in the Lion movie was the very first scene. The sun rising during Circle of Life. Every other shots is completely digital. The film was theatrically released in the United States on July 19, 2019. It has grossed over $1.6 billion worldwide during its theatrical run, overtaking Frozen to become the highest-grossing animated film of all time. It also became the 7th highest-grossing film of all time and the 2nd highest-grossing film of 2019. The Lion King received mixed reviews from critics, with praise for its visual effects, music, and vocal performances, particularly Rogen and Eichner, but criticism for its excessive similarity to the original film, and lack of originality and facial emotion on the characters. The film received nominations for Best Animated Feature Film and Original Song categories at the 77th Golden Globe Awards and 25th Critics' Choice Awards. It was also nominated at 73rd British Academy Film Awards and 92nd Academy Awards, both for visual effects. Number 8. The Green Lantern. The Green Lantern is all about Hal Jordan, a test pilot, acquires superhuman powers after being chosen by the Ring. However, with the powers come the responsibility of defeating the evil Parallax, who is set on destroying Earth. Everything is filmed in a set design, visual effects, coupled with green screen, created just for the movie. The beautiful and flashing-looking costume worn by the Green Lantern wasn't actually worn on live set. It was computer-generated. The flying around and movement concept seen in the movie was as a result of the help of retractable ropes. And the outer space environment you see in the movie is unreal. It's actually a set design made up for the movie. Green Lantern was released on June 17, 2011, and received generally negative reviews. The film underperformed at the box office, grossing $219 million against a production budget of $200 million.
Remember, your enemy is not gonna play fair.
Number 7. Iron Man. Iron Man is a 2008 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. This movie paints a high advanced technological scenes. Do you actually think these scenes were real? Not really. Green screen and special effect played a major role in this movie. The Iron Man costume was actually real, but not as good and flexible as it was in the movie. A retractive rope was used to make retraction, speed movement and lifting movement this movie. Iron Man premiered in Sydney on April 14, 2008, and was released in the United States on May 2, as the first film in Phase 1 of the MCU. It grossed over $585 million on its $140 million budget, becoming the 8th highest grossing film of 2008. The film was praised by critics for its acting, particularly Downey's screenplay, direction, visual effects and action sequences. It was selected by the American Film Institute as one of the 10 best films of 2008 and received 2 nominations at the 81st Academy Awards for Best Sound Editing and Best Visual Effects. 2 sequels have been released, Iron Man 2 2010 and Iron Man 3 2013.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
Number 6. Superman. Superman is a 1978 superhero film directed by Richard Donner, supervised by Alexander and Ilya Salkind, produced by their partner Pierre Spengler, written by Mario Puzo, David Newman, Leslie Newman, and Robert Benton from a story by Puzo based on the DC Comics character of the same name. Wondered how Superman flies in the movie? A rope was attached to the character's waist and leg, giving him the control to position his body, thereby demonstrating as if to be in the air flying. That's brilliant, isn't it? Just like most movies. Lots of green screen, special effects and design sets made this movie a success. The most expensive film made up to that point, with a budget of $55 million. Superman was released in December 1978 to critical and financial success. Its worldwide box office earnings of $300 million made it the second highest grossing release of the year.
Here is an S. How about
Excuse me.
Number 5. The Jungle Book. This is a movie that talks about a story of a boy by the name Mowgli, who was brought up in the jungle by a pack of wolves. When Shere Khan, a tiger, threatens to kill him, a panther and a bear help him escape his clutches. The Jungle Book movie was shot on a virtual environment. To get the best of animation process, the best of emotion and the best of live capture combined together into making the best scenes of the movie and making the impossible possible. The producers of this movie used the latest technological tools available to them to visualize shots that will be seen on a live action set. This technology also helped them to make a real animal animation. This is to say the animals you saw in the movie were not actually real, thanks to animation technology. And the wildlife forest you saw in the movie was actually a set design, which was created just for the movie. The Jungle Book was released in the United States in Disney Digital 3D, Real 3D, IMAX 3D, D-Box and Premium large formats on April 15, 2016. It became a critical and commercial success, grossing over $966 million worldwide, making it the 5th highest grossing film of 2016. The film received praise for its visual effects, vocal performances, direction, musical score, and its faithfulness to the spirit of the original animated film and the Kipling novel. It won accolades for achievements in visual effects at the 89th Academy Awards, 22nd Critics' Choice Awards and 70th British Academy Film Awards. Number 4. Batman. Batman is a superhero who appears in American comic books published by DC Comics. Batman was created by artist Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger, and debuted in the 27th issue of the comic book Detective Comics on March 30, 1939. The Batman costume was made of 110 components. In fact, there is more to its functionalities than it's designed. The Batsuit is made of triple-weave Kevlar centered around the most obvious target, which is the chest-mounted bat symbol. This is to say the suit is made of an anti-ballistic and abrasion-resistant fabric with an in-cowl voice modulator to disguise Bruce's voice. Not only that, aside resistant to bullet, Batman's suit can also resist fire. The first model of this suit was made of asbestos, but later versions were made of Nomex and could withstand fiery explosions. Occasionally, Batman would wear a helmet with an incorporated rebreather to withstand fires. Also, the Batmobile you saw in the movie was actually real. Although, green screen special effects and set design was involved in this movie, but on a little scale. Also, some of the explosions you saw in the movie was actually real. This makes Batman's suit the only hero movie costume that is realistic and practical in real life. Number 3. Spider-Man. Kids in the early 20s should be familiar with this superhero movie, The Spider-Man. The film centers on outcast teen genius Peter Parker, who develops spider-like superhuman abilities after being bitten by a genetically altered spider, and decides to use his newfound powers to fight crime and protect the people of New York City as Spider-Man. The first ever Spider-Man movie was premiered at the Mann Village Theater on April 29, 2002. And was released in the United States 4 days later on May 3. The film received positive reviews from audiences and critics. The film became the first film to reach $100 million in a single weekend, as well as the most successful film based on a comic book at the time, with a box office gross of over $821.7 million worldwide. It was the third highest grossing film of 2002. The highest grossing superhero film and the sixth highest grossing film overall at the time of its release. In this movie, Spider-Man was portrayed to have good reflexes and dodging skills. All thanks to the stunt teachers for a job well done. Did you know the fire and explosions in the burning building scene were real? Yes, you heard right. The burning building scene in Spider-Man 2 was designed to be double the size of the one in the first film. The filmmakers were able to do this because they physically built the set on their backlot at Universal instead of using a real-life location like they had in the first film. This allowed them to have complete control over their environment. The decision to do this added to the believability of the movie. Even the flames were real. Don't bother to wonder how the hell Spider-Man hops around in the movie, because all this was done with a rope tied to his waist for a lift. The tall buildings and wall you see in Spider-Man movie was actually fake. It was all done in a DIY set design. A set design was created to film the movie, portraying New York as the city where Spidey does its good works. All thanks to the design architects that handled this project. Number 2. Avatar. This multiple award-winning movie involves a lot of green screen and CGI technology, which makes the work so much easier, thereby making actors play any character designed in the computer without going through hours and hours of makeup. The advanced level of technology used in this movie is massive. Actors are made to wear a suit covered in wires, using a lot of cameras around to record every single motion, just to record a real-time moving skeleton of the character. Other high advanced technologies used in this movie consist of high technological device, like a tiny camera that images the face while the actor is acting. This takes what the actors does emotionally in any given scene and to translate that into the characters. This movies consist of so much technicalities. All thanks to the directors for a job well done.
To learn your ways.
What are you saying, Jake? You knew this would happen?
Yes.
Number 1. Titanic. A movie based on true life story. A luxurious ship called Titanic containing 2,240 passengers sank into the sea after a collision with an iceberg that caused the ocean liner to sink. Jack and Rose was the major actors in this movie. Their love scene was heartwarming and really emotional, especially when Jack froze to death. It was the most expensive film ever made at the time, with a production budget of $200 million upon its release on December 19, 1997. Upon its release, Titanic achieved significant critical and commercial success. Nominated for 14 Academy Awards, it tied All About Eve for the most Oscar nominations and 11 won, including the awards for Best Picture and Best Director, tying Ben-Hur for the most Oscars won by a single film. With an initial worldwide gross of over $1.84 billion, Titanic was the first film to reach the billion-dollar mark. Do you know that the ocean you actually saw in the Titanic movie was actually a swimming pool? Titanic was filmed in a giant pool. Of course, the film wasn't really filmed in the ocean. Rather, the water scenes were filmed in a giant pool known as a horizon tank which contained 17 million gallons of water. This movie was a direct inspiration of the real ship that sank. The director of the movie, Cameron, took 2 deep-sea submersibles to the floor of the Atlantic and came back with powerful footage of the real Titanic wreckage, which appeared in the present-day segments of the film. That's why you saw the exact look-alike Titanic ship in the movie. The modern scenes on the research vessel were shot on board the Akademik Mstislav Keldysh, which Cameron had used as a base when filming the wreck. To show the ship was actually sinking in the movie, they had to adjust the ship to 60-degree angle, then disconnect the front 180 feet of the ship, and put it on hydraulic cables that will raise and lower it. That's where you can actually see the front section of the ship going under the water as the water pours up on actors. So many things of which you thought was real in Titanic was unreal as green screen in collaboration with advanced technologies aided to a smooth production of the movie. All thanks to the brilliant director for putting in a good work.
This is it! Pull out! Do not let go of my hand!
I'll never let go.
That comes to the end of the list for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscription button to keep up with our next videos and also hit the notification bell to stay updated with our channel.